Hey! Hi! How you doing? This is Ryan, and welcome back to the Gamertron Show. Last month, I was able to finally put out my video review for my Game of the Year 2020, Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal is one of my favorite video games of all time, possibly my favorite, and one of, if not my favorite, first-person shooter video game of all time. If you've been following my channel, watching my videos for the past few years, you know I love Doom. I love Doom 2016, I love Doom Eternal. I love Doom! So as you may expect, I want even more Doom. And I was so very pleasantly surprised when Doom Eternal was first announced. It also announced that post-release there would be story campaign expansions, classic styled expansions, that would serve as an epilogue to the main story of Doom Eternal. Hell yeah, sign me up! And so these expansions were revealed to be the Ancient Gods, Part 1 and Part 2. And with the recent release of Part 2, I want to share with you all my thoughts, feelings, and opinions on Doom Eternal, the Ancient Gods, Part 1 and Part 2. But first, some context. What are you getting in these expansions? Well, you're getting entirely new levels, environments, new demons to fight, new boss battles to fight, new abilities to be added and used in the Doomslayer's kit, new environmental hazards to interact with and overcome, brand new cosmetics to unlock and customize your Doomslayer with, and lastly, but certainly not least, new story to engage with, new lore to read, and new cutscenes to watch. Oh yeah, and how could I forget all the badass new music to listen to, which comes with each new level. Honestly, the whole Ancient Gods saga, Part 1 and Part 2 combined, feels like a whole new game, like a straight-up sequel to Doom Eternal, amplifying the strengths of the base game, in addition to keeping the core gameplay loop exciting and interesting, in the form of several creative new additions. But enough faffing about, let's get into the nitty-gritty details. Let's start off with the visuals and the levels. Once again, the artists and environmental designers over at id Software continue to blow me away. I was already immensely impressed with the diversity of colorful, detailed environments and varied level design. Much like the base game of Doom Eternal, the Ancient Gods DLC levels are all unique and memorable in their own way. And I swear, id Software is just showing off with the id Tech engine at this point. The fucking rain and water effects on the level UAC Atlantica, the detailed vegetation on Earth Reclaimed, the haunting atmosphere of the Halt, and oh my god, the epic demons versus sentinels war going on in the background of Imora. These levels are just beautiful, thrilling, and brimming with creativity and imagination. And when it comes to actual level design and traversing these environments, I find they strike a perfect balance between platforming, level progression, and combat arenas. There was just never a dull moment. I was always exploring my environments for secrets and goodies, dynamically platforming to vertically traverse the environments in creative ways, or dashing, double jumping, and shooting my way out of one of the many expertly crafted combat arenas. Speaking of combat, let's get into the meat and potatoes of Doom, why you would be picking up these expansions in the first place. Now, I didn't even consider it a possibility that the combat encounters in the Ancient Gods would surpass what was already on offer in the main game of Doom Eternal. So many memorable battles in the arenas they take place in. So much glorious demon killing. But to my shock and awe, I might actually like the combat encounters in the Ancient Gods expansions over the main base game of Eternal. And don't get me wrong, I still love and adore the main campaign of Eternal, and I always will. It's an absolute blast from beginning to end. But the Ancient Gods up the ante significantly, with just way more demon spawns in these arenas, and just far more heavy and super heavy demon spawns, and also just increasing the overall amount of fodder demons you can face at a time. I play Doom to kill hordes of demons, and the Ancient Gods gives me hordes upon hordes to massacre. In some ways, it almost feels like the Ancient Gods was tuned specifically for me. Way more encounters featuring dozens and dozens of imps. Way more encounters featuring multiple Barons of Hell, Doom Hunters, Tyrants, Archviles, and Marauders. My absolute favorite levels and combat encounters in the main game of Eternal feature these enemy types. And with the Ancient Gods Part 1 and Part 2, every level is filled with multiple encounters with these enemies, which makes me very, very happy and I very, very much enjoyed. I personally find that the Doom Eternal combat loop is at its best when enemy variety and diversity is utilized to its fullest. And both of the Ancient Gods expansions embrace this methodology wholeheartedly, technically even more so than the base game, thanks to the addition of multiple new demons, turrets, spirits, Bloodmakers, Screechers, Armored Barons, Stone Imps, Cursed Prowlers, and Demonic Troopers, all of them adding a unique new twist and spin on the Doom gameplay combat loop. I love almost all the new demonic additions except the turret. I just don't like enemy turrets in video games in general. I love when you're able to place and use your own turrets in video games, but enemy turrets? I just don't like them. That's just my own personal gaming preferences and bias. And while I love just about all the combat encounters in the Ancient Gods DLCs, one criticism I would make of both expansions, in terms of combat encounter design and enemy spawns, is that personally I find there's way too many Mancubi. Whether it's the normal Mancubus or the Cyber Mancubus, there's just way too many Mancubi. Please don't misunderstand me, I'm not implying that fighting Mancubi in any way is bad, or bad design or anything like that, just in terms of my personal taste, I felt like they were a bit overused and abused in far too many combat encounters. I would have personally preferred perhaps some more Pain Elementals, Dread Knights, Hell Knights, Pinkies. More Cacodemons are always fun and mix things up. And who doesn't love Revenants? More Revenants is only a good thing. It's just in my opinion, I feel like the Mancubus has had more than enough time in the spotlight. Hopefully, in the upcoming Ancient Gods Master levels, we'll see way more of the new demons, more Bloodmakers, more Stone Imps, more Armored Barons. But enough of me going on about demon enemy types. Now, if you put a gun to my head and force me to tell you about what my favorite levels, my favorite combat encounters from the Ancient Gods expansions were, I'd have to say, just about the whole level of UAC Atlantica. I really did just enjoy that entire level and all of its combat from beginning to end. The two major arenas in the Blood Swamps that you have to complete to get to the boss, those are some really great arenas. Rest of the Blood Swamps is a bit of a pain in the butt, not gonna lie. And I love most of the Halt. There's 2 or 3 combat arenas that use environmental hazards, and I'm just like, no, I want to focus on the demons, please. But besides those few arenas, love the Halt, love most of the major arenas, love the introduction of the Bloodmakers and the unique new challenge and dynamic they add to combat, and very much enjoy the increased amount of super heavy demons, yeah! Also, the 2 Slayer Gates found in the Ancient Gods Part 1, love those 2, such chaotic, frantic, challenging combat. And the meticulous arena design, I swear, almost all the combat arenas found in the Ancient Gods Part 1 and even Part 2 could make for some spectacular deathmatch multiplayer maps. The amount of maneuverability at your disposal and the constant flanking opportunities. Oh, they make for such great fights. And then when it comes to the Ancient Gods Part 2, I'm not gonna lie, I loved just about this entire expansion. I immensely enjoyed myself. The free main levels and the final boss level, loved it. The World Spear, loved it. Reclaimed Earth, loved it. Imora, loved it. The Dark Lord, loved it. I can't even name a specific combat encounter that I liked more than the others. I loved them all. I enjoyed them all. Ooh, but especially the escalation encounters. The amount of demons that are thrown at you in escalation encounters. Oh, it's so good. We get close to serious SAM levels of enemy density in escalation encounters, which is why I love them. The more demons to kill, the better. And the final boss fight against the Dark Lord, which I won't spoil here, I found it to be a very interesting take on a Doom boss fight, while sharing a few similarities with previous Doom boss battles. There's enough unique new mechanics and an emphasis on timing and patience that makes this fight really engaging for me. So I quite like the final boss, especially his design. Oh my god, I love the design of the Dark Lord. This is one of the most badass interpretations of the devil I've ever seen in fiction. One criticism I have though in terms of combat design in the Ancient Gods Part 2. The Cursed Prowler. I think it's kind of silly that the only way to kill a Cursed Prowler after they've cursed you is to blood punch them. There's never a guarantee that you're going to have a blood punch ready on standby if you get cursed by a Cursed Prowler. I just think there should be another option, a ranged option, for if you get cursed, to kill the Prowler and getting rid of the curse. I think having it exclusively be a blood punch is being unnecessarily obtuse. I can see a lot of players getting really turned off and pissed off by the Cursed Prowler. In the meantime, for me so far, I just make a Cursed Prowler my priority target every time I see one spawn. So yeah, besides the annoyance of the Cursed Prowler, I love everything about the Ancient Gods Part 2 expansion. Had a smile on my face from beginning to end. Immensely enjoyed this content. Last thing I want to talk about concerning the Ancient Gods expansions is the story, which blew my friggin' mind. With these expansions, questions we've had since Doom 2016 concerning the lore and the characters are finally answered. The world building and lore is expanded even further. There are no more mysteries hiding in the shadows. All of the answers are brought into the light. And what we are left with is a fully fleshed out universe. A story, a history, a ballad, told across eons in terms of in-game time, and spanning across, interconnected by multiple video games. The story of Doom Eternal, the story of the ancient gods, the story of Doom in its entirety is an epic tale of deities, deception, conflict, and one man who would become a legend to both heaven, hell, and beyond. The Doomslayer. Easily, still, one of, if not the most badass protagonist in a video game. Oh, and the ending. Oh, that ending! Oh, I was freaking out at the ending. But then again, it is a very suiting ending to this saga. And while the story of the Doomslayer may now be complete, that's not the end of Doom Eternal and future content updates. We're getting more multiplayer modes, more master levels, more cosmetics, just more content coming in the future. This may be the end of campaign story content, but this is not the end of Doom Eternal. We still have far more demons to kill in the future. And I simply cannot wait to see what's in store. id Software have truly proven themselves to be master craftsmen in terms of video game development. I cannot wait to see what these devs have in store for us in the future. I can't wait to play even more Doom Eternal and kill even more demons. I fucking love this game, man. I love Doom Eternal. I love the Ancient Gods expansions. I loved experiencing this epic story. I love Doom. And that's been a video. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video in any way, shape, or form, please be sure to hit the like button. Hitting the like button helps you, helps me, helps everybody involved in the video. If you hit the like button, please leave a comment in the comment section down below. I love reading comments. Get nearly enough comments. Please leave a comment. If you want to help out and support this video, then please share it on social media, Twitter, Reddit, and Facebook. And if you want to help out and support me directly, well, there's always links to my Ko-Fi and my Patreon in the description down below. Anyways, thank you for watching. This has been a video, and I'll see you all later.